God, don't tell me. Hello, my brothers and sisters. Brother Billy. Uh, just wanted to. I'm looking and doing just a little digging into Erica Kirk and just you know, kind of expose. Well, just kind of sharing some of the inconsistencies that I've been noticing that only fuel my suspicion about her. Um, I mean, Candace definitely just really dropped some bombshell, you know, accusations allegedly about her actually being at that meeting, but I'll get into that another time. But I was just um thinking about the town hall meeting that she did with the Barry Weiss. Candace was doing uh she's been talking about these Egyptian planes for a while. Um and she's been making some discoveries, making some accusations about the nature of these Egyptian planes. And Erica Kirk was asked the question about the Egyptian plane. Now I want you to hear what Erica Kirk says, and then we'll hear what Candace Owens says, and then you ask yourself, because when you look at the clip, it almost seemed like Barry Weiss didn't want her to talk about the planes, didn't want her to really answer it, but Erica Kirk insisted. And so ask yourself, after you hear both sides, you ask yourself, why did Erica lie? Why did she lie? Let's listen at it. You be the judge. I'm gonna let you be the judge on this. This is what Erica Kirk says sitting down with the Barry Weiss lady on CBS. Let's listen at her.
There could be they'll say we can't find a fair jury. Like they're going to taint the jury pool, and in that case,
that's how widespread you think these conspiracies have gone.
Yes,
that's how mainstream they become. Okay,
Egyptian planes.
You want to talk about Egyptian planes?
Okay, I was pregnant for 90% of those trips. Mind you, I've never, all those places they said I'd travel, I've never been. I mean, I've been, but I'm not within those states that they've.
But you even said you need to.
No, but this is, yeah, but I do on that one. Only because.
All them places they say I traveled. Notice what she's saying now. She's talking about traveling on the Egyptian plane.
From a humor standpoint, I intentionally, when I was pregnant, hid. Not because I was embarrassed, not because I didn't want anyone. Yes, we did keep it very private, but because it was a moment very sacred. I was growing a human inside of me, my baby. The world that Charlie and I live in is very toxic at times.
Yeah.
And when you are growing a beautiful child in you, I don't want to be around it. I want to enjoy eating my In-N-Out burger and my hot fudge sundae. That's what I want to do. I'm pregnant and I have 9 months to own it. You really think I'm going to be on an Egyptian plane while I'm wanting to be with my In-N-Out burger and my chocolate milkshake? No, I'm not. So if you want to go through my flight log, go right ahead. It's very boring. You say I was here on this date. I have a photo in my phone to prove that I actually was in the hospital because I was having contractions. So game on.
Okay, so you heard Erica, right? She's talking about being on an Egyptian plane or even talking about traveling. And first and foremost, Candace never ever said she was on that Egyptian plane. I'm gonna read this and then I'm gonna show you Candace responding to this particular video. Because you really can't see it. No, it's hard to see that. I'll read it though. You really think this is Candace Owens? You really think I'm going to be on an Egyptian plane when I'm wanting to be with my In-N-Out burger and my chocolate milkshake? Ericka Kirk completely dodging the questions by confronting a claim that we never made. Literally, this is Candace. No one accused Ericka or Charlie of flying on Egyptian planes. And no, you were not pregnant for the last 4 years. Very good point. Pregnancy only lasts 9 months. After that, you could have been flying all over the place. And again, her accusation was never that you were on the plane. This is Candace Owens' accusation. This is Candace's response.
The person the planes were actually tracking for years was Ericka. Not Charlie, but Ericka was the one being tracked by these planes between 2022 and September of 2025. Both of those aircrafts, SUBTT, the yellow plane, and SUBND, the blue plane, showed 68 overlaps with Ericka's documented location.
You hear that? 68 overlap of Ericka Kirk's location. Not that Ericka Kirk was on the Egyptian plane. The Egyptian plane overlapped where Ericka Kirk was. And Candace talks about her really what draw her attention to these Egyptian plane. She wasn't even thinking about Eric. It was about Charlie Kirk in her initial investigation. She thought the planes were tracking Charlie Kirk. But upon further investigation, she realized, oh, these planes are tracking Ericka Kirk. But again, notice tracking her and overlapping where she was. Not that she was on the Egyptian plane.
Locations, okay? 68 overlaps. I have since been able to add now 73 times that this overlapped, okay? And 29 of those instances also happened to include Charlie. Charlie was also present. These are all the instances in which this plane, 68 instances that this plane crossed with Ericka. And I'm also going to say this includes overseas as well. So my instant question becomes, why didn't Turning Point acknowledge that this plane was familiar to them? When I was taking all of these figurative online bullets, someone could have easily said something, right? That's kind of a repeat thing in this investigation. Josh Hammer lies, I get attacked, Turning Point just stays silent. They know he's lying, but they allow the lie to flow. Alex Clark lies, I get attacked, I'm telling the truth. Turning Point knows it, but they kind of allow this like Catholic thing, lie to flow. And the influencers are allowed to lie. Nobody at Turning Point ever just steps to clarify that I'm onto something or I'm telling the truth about something. And when it comes to these Egyptian flights, the math on this is indisputable. There is less than a 0.000000001% probability, okay, under random distribution models that these Egyptian planes coincidentally landed around Ericka at these times. Like I said, this plane was not just with her in America, it was also tracking her overseas as well. I flagged this because I was alarmed because I thought it was tracking Charlie. And I am telling you that this plane, in addition to Charlie, and primarily actually was tracking Ericka. The person.
So that is why I titled this, Why Did Ericka Kirk Lie About the Egyptian Plane? Because she flat out lied. She conflated her being on the Egyptian plane with the Egyptian plane tracking and overlapping where she was. Candace says even overseas, these Egyptian planes will somehow be in the same place that Ericka Kirk is at. And if you don't think that's weird, you think that's normal because you hate Candace, you got problems. You got worse problems to deal with. You got emotional, mental, and psychological issues going on. Because that's just not normal. And then the main fact again, Ericka Kirk lied. Because obviously, for her to bring up, I can't give her a pass. I can't give her a pass on this because for her to even bring up, Barry Weiss brought up the Egyptian plane. Ericka Kirk chose to respond to the Egyptian plane. You know what that tells me? You know what that means to me? She had knowledge of the accusation made about the Egyptian plane and her. That's what that tells me. She is familiar with the accusation. So if she's familiar with the accusation, that means she knows the accusation was not that you flew on an Egyptian plane, Miss Ericka. The accusation is that an Egyptian plane overlapped, tracked where you were, even overseas. That is the accusation. So now, knowing with me saying you knew what the accusation was, why did you lie about what was said about you in the Egyptian plane? That tells me I feel like Candace. These Egyptian planes are the key to a whole lot about who and what, who killed Charlie Kirk, who was behind it. Because if these Egyptian planes end up playing a role in Charlie Kirk's assassination, guess what that also means? Ericka Kirk played a role. Hard for some of you to stomach that, in it. I often wonder why. I did a video entitled, "Why is it hard for people to believe that Ericka Kirk could have betrayed her husband?" Go check that out. From a biblical Christian perspective, why is that so hard to believe that she could have been involved? I didn't say she was involved. Why is that so hard to believe she could have been involved? You know how much betrayals in the Bible? You understand how much betrayals in the Bible from loved ones, close? Joseph, his brothers sold him into slavery. The youngest brother, their baby brother, they sold him into slavery. They were going to kill him, but they sold him into slavery because they hated him. They were jealous of him. David betrayed his military lieutenant and had him put to the front of the line because he slept with his wife, Bathsheba, got her pregnant, and tried to cover it up and had him killed. He betrayed him. Absalom, David's son, betrayed him, tried to take the kingdom away from him, tried to kill his own daddy. David had to flee from his own son, his own flesh and blood son. And that's not the end, the last of them, but last but not least, Judas Iscariot, one of the 12 disciples that walked with Jesus, talked with Jesus, ate, slept with Jesus. They traveled together. He performed miracles, signs, and wonders by the power that Jesus gave him to do it. He saw Jesus heal the sick, raise the dead, cleanse lepers, cast out devils. He saw Jesus perform the turning the loaves, the five loaves, the 2 fish. He saw all of this stuff. He saw all of this. He saw all of this, and yet guess what he did? He betrayed him with a kiss. So those of you who are just like, oh man, there's no way she could have anything to do with it. I don't know what Bible you're reading. I don't know what life you are living in. I mean, even in the criminal background criminal field. Wives have their husband knock off all the time. Husbands have their wives knock off all the time. It's just not like an impossibility, especially when you got a whole bunch of money involved. That is the key. If there's a bunch of money involved, people do the love of money is the root to all evil. Meaning, a husband will betray their own wife if the money is right. A wife will betray her own husband if the money is right. That's for some of them. I'm just suggesting that it's not out of the realm of possibility that Ericka betrayed her husband. We're finding and catching her in a lot of lies, little lies. And when you tell little lies, you only tell little lies to cover up a bigger lie. So why did Ericka Kirk tell the lie, form it the way she formed it, as if the accusation was she was on Egyptian plane, when she knew, based on the accusation, based on what was brought up, she had knowledge of what the accusation was, and she flat out lied. You can't just let that slide when people tell you a bold-faced lie. If people can look you dead in your eye and lie without winking, blinking, or twitching, bro, you can't put nothing past them. They are very, very comfortable lying to you directly to your face. Which means if they'll lie, they'll steal. If they'll steal, they'll kill. That's just what I'm saying. Not making any accusation against Ericka Kirk. Just saying, why did you lie, Miss Ericka? Y'all be blessed.